Senate Republicans just handed the president a huge political win after taming down an internal rebellion. We talked a lot about this yesterday, and despite the bipartisan backlash, a move to kill President Trump's so-called anti-weaponization fund fell short, even with 6 Republicans joining all of the Democrats to vote for that measure. That leaves open the concern that despite the DOJ's assertion the fund isn't moving forward right now, it could be brought back to the benefit of some of the president's biggest allies, including January 6 rioters. Joining us now, former Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn, who defended the Capitol on January 6th and is now running for Congress in Maryland as a Democrat. Harry, it looked like Republicans may move. This was, as we talked yesterday, could have moved to block the so-called anti-weaponization fund permanently now that the amendment to curb it failed. What's your message for lawmakers who allowed the door to stay open to this fund to move forward?
Well, thanks for having me on. But this is it's kind of surreal. It's like January 6th all over again. When January 6th happened, there was this big call for unity to stand up against what happened, to denounce Donald Trump, to say that he was responsible for it, and to move on from him. Similar to the backlash that we saw when they announced the slush fund, if you will. But then slowly, by one, they started crawling back into Donald Trump's orbit to get into his good graces. And that's what we saw with this vote that happened. So many Republicans were angered about it. They were outraged. They were clutching their pearls. They had thoughts and prayers. But when it came down to actually voting about it, you saw where their loyalty stood, and that was with Donald Trump.
You say that this brings back January 6th. Why is this so visceral for you? What is your biggest fear if some of these rioters are getting payouts from the government?
Well, I've said this before, and I believe that this is Donald Trump is putting a retainer on his mob. January 6th, obviously, everybody saw the violence that happened to me and my coworkers that day, and everybody knows that it was bad. Everybody was surprised by the pardons when Donald Trump pardoned those individuals for that. And then came this slush fund, if you will, where everybody's up in arms about it. Now, the forgiveness part came with the pardons. Now you're being rewarded and possibly incentivized to do violence in Donald Trump's name.
The president says he loves this fund, and he once again showered praise on the people at the Capitol on January 6th that you stared dead in the eye. Take a listen to what the president said.
What happened to great people, great American people, the way they were victimized, the way they were savaged. They were accused of things that never happened. They had prosecutors that were radical lunatics, and their lives were destroyed.
According to a new study, at least 97 people charged in connection with the Capitol riot have been accused of new crimes since January 6, 2021. That includes some disturbing cases involving sex crimes, domestic violence, grand larceny, planning to assassinate officials, among other offenses. So in light of all of that, what's your response to the president?
Well, he's an idiot and a very low IQ individual, as he likes to say. But like these people that are committing these crimes, they're once a criminal, always a criminal. They cannot help themselves. And it only goes to further show that Donald Trump continues to reward people who are loyal to him no matter what. And honestly, that's why we were able to file our lawsuit to stop this slush fund so quickly, because we knew that this was coming. This was a campaign promise that Donald Trump ran on. This is some of the things that he wanted to do. And the insurrectionists that were sent in his name believed that they were doing the right thing. As they were there beating officers at the Capitol on January 6th, as you're watching that footage right now, they were saying that they were there because Donald Trump sent them. So Donald Trump wants to have this mob on retainer. And also, like I said, with regard to our lawsuit, we believe that this is the best way to stop it, because we obviously see that Congress can't do it or doesn't have the fortitude to do it. So me and Daniel Hodges, with our lawsuit, we're fighting back to stop this slush fund.
We also learned this week, we've reported on this, that one convicted rioter who entered the building through a broken window with a metal pole, there he is, was recently hired for a sensitive counterterrorism post within the Pentagon. He has said that he regrets his decision-making in these moments. But as a former Capitol Police officer who was there that day, What is your reaction to having someone like that, a young person like that, with a top secret security clearance?
Well, in fairness, he does have expertise in terrorism because he participated in a domestic terrorism event on January 6th. But it's just a continued slap in the face, and it just shows that they want loyalists and not people who are actually competent at doing their jobs.
Harry Dunn, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us.